Again, this is News Today. In our first story, General Secretary of the NDC, Acusses has accused the New Patriotic Party of assaulting some persons suspected to be NDC supporters from the northern region. Speaking at a press conference early on, General Mosquito described the act as one that can have repercussions on the conduct of elections in the country.
There was an incident where senior officials of NPP moved to a lorry station and surrounded a group of people who had landed from Bolga, rounded them up and marched them to NPP offices, gave them terrible beatings before handing them over to the police. Their crime was that they have entered Kumasi on a registration day, so therefore their intention was to register for NDC. Ladies and gentlemen, I think that you heard me clearly when I was calling for some psychiatric examination of certain people who were involved in this activity. First of all, I did say, and I want to repeat, that if it is indeed true that those passengers who were rounded up and beaten up, if it is indeed true that they indicated that they were mobilized and put on a bus to come to Kumasi to register as voters so they can subsequently vote for NDC, then they must be examined by psychiatric doctors. Because, I mean, nobody does anything that will have that without any motive. If they are coming from Bolga to register in Kumasi, it cannot be for the purpose of voting for the presidential candidate, because they could register in Bolga and vote for the presidential candidate, and it goes into the same count.
Acusses has also been defending the low turnout of the various voter registration centers.
Now, having said that, it was apparent that the turnout was on the low side. So if you take this registration in isolation, you can only conclude that the turnout was very, very low. But we must not stop at just the absolute figures for the turnout. We have done some analysis and we have come to the conclusion that the turnout appears to be a way in which the register is correcting itself.
John Lavey is an independent election observer. He's joined me over the telephone. Let's talk about this over the next few minutes. Hello, John. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you.
John, and so we've ended the registration process. What were your observations?
Well, the regular observation is that this was not a full-fledged registration. This is a revision. The revision means that just an addition to the register which was compiled for the 2012 election. So that register already contains some 12 million names. All that this research is seeking to do is, there may be some Ghanaians who did not register at that time for various reasons. There may be Ghanaians who have come of age, 18 and above, who want to register. So this is just an addition. Therefore, when we are talking about turnout being low or being high, you have to relate it to what, because we are not calling 12 million or 30 million Ghanaians to come and register within 2 weeks. We are calling some number, which will be a certain small percentage of the population. So I don't know. So
now, speaking of low turnouts, General Secretary for the NDC, has described the low turnout as a way of the register cleansing itself, bearing in mind that some of the political parties have been pushing for a cleansing of the voter registration exercise. What sense, really, does it make to say the low turnout indeed was a way of cleansing the register cleansing itself?
Actually, I don't exactly understand that statement.
No, let me try and explain, because this was the explanation he gave. The fact that persons who registered prior to, minors who registered prior to the 2012 general elections could not go to register because then your name was already there. And so if there was low turnout, that was the reason. So you wouldn't have people being on the register with double names.
Let's not talk about minors registering as if they were in the majority on the register. Minors registering, allegedly registering, were actually in a small minority. So if those minors who maybe were less than 18 a year on, they are 18 now, or they are still less than 18 and they do not want to come out, I mean, that is no big deal. Registration is not compulsory. If somebody wants to register, he goes and registers. If he doesn't want to register, nobody takes it to court. At least not in this country yet. So whatever we have gotten now depends upon the election. We will still have a certain turnout for the election in next year. So we should not actually have too much trouble with the turnout now. Let the Electoral Commission finish adding this to whatever we had before, and let them come out with what figure we have. But there will be issues of people attempting to register who already are on the register. People who have lost their ID cards, and instead of waiting to get it replaced, they want to go and register. I've heard some of the reports like that. Now, that will mean basically that there will be double and multiple entries in the register. Unfortunately, the stage we have reached now for the registration, that is the biometric registration, the computers on the field do not talk to each other exactly. Therefore, you're not likely to have somebody who has registered before and who attempts to register caught immediately on the field. It will have to come to the database, the central database, before such people are eliminated. But that takes some time also. So if indeed people who are going to be have been entered on the register now are just a small number, let's say 1 million or even less, then we are likely to just have a clean register. The register is clean according to how it has been sponsored, how people turn out, and how people help remove ineligible people from the register. There was an issue of people challenging others at the registration center. Yes, you have a right to challenge. The legitimate qualification is there. You have to be a Ghanaian, you have to be 18 and above, you have to be a sound mind, you have to reside in the area you want to vote, all that. But if somebody comes there to do all that and has all that, but there are other people who think that what he has brought is not genuine, they can challenge.
Right, and so we're adding some more names of legible voters to the register. There have been calls, time without number, for a cleansing of the register since the litigation at the Supreme Court. What would you expect the EC to do from now?
No, the EC has a process to go through. When this is done, they're going to compile either they add it to the old one or they compile this one separately and exhibit. They will still display it for voters to find out whether their names registered for the 2012 elections are still there, or the new names registered now are also there. So the process has to be gone through.
I guess the question I'm trying to have answered is whether or not a cleansing of the register will be necessary, because it's been paramount for political parties here in the country.
Oh, my brother, that's what I'm telling you. That when you're talking about cleansing of the register, it is the exhibition that means cleansing, because if people go there and find out that the names are there or not, or somebody else is there which is not there. That is the cleansing. In the electoral terms, that is what is called the cleansing.
Right, except I wasn't sure which exhibition you were talking about, whether for the new entrants or for the whole register.
Both. It will be registered for the new and for the old. Every election, before the election, a register is exhibited for people to find out whether their names are there and their names are properly there, and whether they want to make any small changes to their name. That is the purpose of the revision. And whether your name is even at the polling station where you intend to vote. That is the meaning of the revision, and which we refer to as cleansing.
I see. We'll leave it here for now. Thank you very much, John. John Levy is an election observer.